Hey guys, what's going on? Here's another video for you. This is 15 underrated black metal albums. Some of them are from fairly popular bands in the scene, and I tried to pick some that were maybe kind of bands that people don't really talk about in general. So this is in no order. We'll start right off the bat here with Cultus des Ghouls, or however you say that. Cultus des Ghouls. This is their first album, Haxan, and god damn is this album evil as hell. And in such a good way. Like, it just reminds me of like, maybe like certain themes of like The Witch, or like even like Sleepy Hollow to an extent, just like medieval witches and like gathering around in the forest and like just like the Black Plague and shit. This whole album is just, again, evil as fuck. The vocals are very reminiscent of Attila. They're very like bordering on disturbing. Like there's one section in the first song where there's like this weird, like, again, Attila, like De Mysterious-esque like vocals and like a baby crying, which like obviously implies like human sacrifice and shit, and it's just like, holy fuck. Like this is a, and you know what, they do it so well that you have to love it. I absolutely love this album. Their other stuff is not bad, but it's not to the level of this. And the reason I say this is underrated is because most people cite, what the hell's the one after this? Is it Coven? Or the one with the green cover, I can't remember. There's Coven and there's, I think, Hexbane or something like that. And they're not bad, but they're not to the level of this. Like, this has definitely its own feel. It stays with you. So if you haven't checked this out, Cultus des Ghouls, it's a very underrated album. This is Haxan. So after that, next in the list, we have the third and final album from Germany's own Nagelfar, or Nagelfar, Virus West. Now, when most people talk about Nagelfar, they cite Hunengrab and Herbst, their first album, which I will admit is probably a little bit better than this. But to be quite honest, everything in their discography is like amazing. So there's not really any bad moments. I will say, after I bought this in whatever year it was, it did take me a little while to get used to. I feel like the production maybe could have been like a little bit more grittier, and maybe it's a bit too clean at parts, but once you get past that and you like take in the songs and everything, it's a really, really well written, very good album. Very good musicianship, songwriting, everything. It's atmospheric black metal, but there's a lot of super fast blasting. Yeah, it's a very, very underrated album. Like I said, not many people talk about it. I think it's great, though. The drummer obviously went on to do the Ruins of Beverast, and the singer went on to sing for Endstill. But while these guys were a band, they were excellent. So if you haven't checked this out, Nagelfar, Virus West, great stuff. So after that, here's a recent one. This is by a Greek black metal band, one-man project. This is Mistress, Castles Conquered and Reclaimed. This came out, I think, in like 2019, so I guess it's a little unfair to say that it's like underrated, but I really never hear people talk about this. Like I said, it's a one-man project. The lead singer does, his other band is, what is it? I always get them mixed up. There's Spectral Voice and Spectral, I think it's Spectral Voice. They're another atmospheric black metal band from Germany. I actually don't really like them that much. I've tried them a bunch of times and I just can't really get into it, but this project is different. It's medieval based. It's very, very raw, very, very chaotic, but the musicianship in this is, I feel like, on a whole nother level, especially the guitar playing. It's just, a lot of the riffs he comes up with are just like, holy shit, man. It reminds you a lot, songwriting-wise, in certain ways, to like Macabre Omen or something. And, but yeah, the music is a lot rawer, a lot more chaotic, lots of blast beats. And probably my favorite part in this whole album are the leads that he comes up with. They're drenched in just pure medieval atmosphere, and I absolutely love that. His vocals are great as well. This entire album is just absolutely phenomenal. I'm so happy I picked this up. Like, it's one of my favorite current black metal albums, like probably like top 3, honestly. He has one other album, which I was kind of lukewarm on. I gave it a try like 2 or 3 times, and I was like, it's not bad, but it's not to this level. But yeah, this is a super underrated album. I feel like it should get a lot more credit. This is Mistras with Castles Conquered and Reclaimed. One of these days, I'll get to posting the links and all that kind of stuff under these videos. I'm just like super bad with technology. But one of these days, I'll, you know, sit down and do all of that. But yeah, great album. So then next up, we have a slightly controversial one. This is Knockmistium with Instinct Decay. I know everyone hates Blake Judd because he ripped off everyone and he sucks and he's a fucking drug addict and whatever, but I mean, yeah, that's shitty, but at least he didn't like kill anyone, or at least he didn't go down for like possession of, you know, stuff that he shouldn't have. I'll just put it that way. You know, to be honest, I love Knockmistium. Like, yeah, that was shitty that he ripped off all those people, but I mean, to me, their music is, the majority of it is just fantastic. And most people, you know, will admit that Assassins Volume 1 or whatever the hell that was with Ghosts of Grace on it, that's like an amazing album. There's a couple others in his later career that people love, but I feel like, at least to my knowledge, I don't really see people talk about this too often, and maybe it's because like he's kind of blacklisted now, but this is a fucking phenomenal album. The way he blends in psychedelia with this entire release is just so awesome, coupled with the raw production. And I've always been a huge fan of his vocals. I love the vocals. I don't know, I really think this is an underrated album. There's so many like unique and just memorable aspects to it. Seed for Suffering, the psychedelic section towards the end of that, Circumvention, Antichrist Messiah, such a good album. So yeah, if you haven't heard this, Knockmistium, Instinct Decay, definitely check it out. So moving right along here, we've got, this will probably ruffle some feathers because a lot of people hate this album. But we have Gorgoroth's Destroyer. Yeah, a lot of people don't like this album. A lot of people don't like most Gorgoroth unless it's the first 3. Whoa. Like, I don't know. Like, Pentagram is amazing. Antichrist is like good. Under the Sign of Hell is good. But I feel like, in my opinion, this album's better than all of those 3. Ad Majorem Sanctus Gloriam is better than all those 3. Twilight of the Idols is better. I think those albums are much better. I mean, I can appreciate the first 3 for the rawness, but it doesn't stand out to me as well as their later stuff. And I know that's a very unpopular opinion because everyone like hates the Gaul era, which I just completely don't understand. But this is the transitional album between the old school stuff and I guess the new era, or the post era. And I love this album. I know there's like 10 million different musicians and everything, but I mean, the atmosphere and the production on here is all very, in its own weird way, very concise. I mean, the first 3 songs alone are just phenomenal. Destroyer, Open the Gates, The Devil, The Sinner, and His Journey, which has guest Frost on drums on that song. 4th song is great. The 5th song, my buddy and I, a couple buddies of mine, and I used to drive around all the time blasting that song out the window. I love the groove in it. And then the rest of the album is fantastic too. Blood Offer is cool, like chaotic, random song. The Virgin Born, the last one, is excellent. Yeah, I love this album. Nobody talks about it. I really, for the life of me, will never understand what people have with like the Gaul era and like anything after Under the Sign of Hell. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, this is a great album, so check this out. Gorgoroth Destroyer. So then after that, what do we got here? We have, this is another really unheard of one. This is back when Van Records was, I mean, I found that their offerings back then a lot more interesting than what they have now, but that's just my opinion. This is Verdunkeln's, I guess their first full-length, because they don't consider that self-titled album their first full-length. But this is Einblick in den Qualenfall, or however the hell you say it. This is an amazing, amazing album. I talked about this in my top 20 or 25 black metal albums, whatever I titled that one. Or I might have talked about the other one. But regardless, this is an amazing album. It's atmospheric black metal, but there's a lot of groove to it. There's a lot of density. There's a lot of fucking atmosphere. I mean, this is like one of the most unique black metal albums I've ever heard. It's very dark. It's very psychedelic. It's very trance-inducing. If you haven't heard this, do yourself a favor and check it out. Yeah, Van Records had some amazing shit back in the day. And this album literally like blew my socks off. So check this out, Verdunkeln in den Qualenfall. So then after that, a couple of known bands. Rodenkreis, Sanctius Davalos. I never hear anyone talk about this album. I think it's phenomenal. It's easily the darkest work they've ever done. Production is just perfect. The vocals are sinister as fuck. The songwriting is great. It's very catchy, but it's still dark as shit. I mean, like, Serve in Heaven, Shades of Evil, those two alone are like two of the best songs ever written by Rodenkreis. The Closer, amazing, amazing, amazing album. I don't know why people don't talk about this. This is definitely one of the best in their discography. After that, we have in 2004, this was Lord Sabathon's last album, Zes Hereticum. I do not know why people don't talk about this album more. It is absolutely amazing. From the production to the intensity of the songs, the drumming is just insane. The vocals are crazy. Just straight up amazing black metal in the style of like Marduk or, Belphegor to an extent, Dark Funeral, whatever, like blasting, furious, satanic black metal. This is one of the best in that style of black metal. So if you haven't heard this, definitely check it out. I don't know why people don't talk about it more. It's always like, Prophecies of Pagan. It's always, it's always the first couple, but it's like, this is actually a lot better than a lot of the early stuff. So you're missing out. Enthroned Zes Hereticum. After that, Speak of the Devil, Dark Funeral, A Terra Totus Sanctius. I love this album. I'm not crazy about Angel Flesh Impaled and Feed on the Mortals, but the first 5 songs I feel like are excellent. And then the closer, Final Ritual, amazing song. I love the production on this. It's so hellish and really reflects the artwork. The vocals are amazing by Emperor Magus Caligula. This is easily one of the best in their discography. But again, people largely don't really like this album, and I don't really know why. I find it better than the one after, Angelus, Exus, whatever. I find it better than everything after this, honestly. It's better than Vobiscum Satanus. It's a very good album, and I feel like people don't talk about it enough. So if for whatever reason this passed up, you're listening, check it out. All right, so after that, we have Arcanum with Kostdagger. I never hear anybody talk about Arcanum or Arcanum, like, period. And yeah, a lot of their stuff, especially towards the end, got kind of dull, but their first few albums are really, really good. I love all the pan worship atmosphere on here, like the crazed vocals, very solitary sounding production, if that makes sense. It's definitely a weird production. It's kind of annoying because you really have to turn up your stereo, and he like intended it to be that way, which is kind of annoying. And so there's some issues with the production, but all the songs on here for the most part are really, really good. Like I said, I especially love the vocals. Certain sections have like folk instruments and even like female vocals, and it's a very, very memorable album. If for whatever reason you haven't heard it, definitely check it out. First 3 Arcanum are amazing. So after that we have Slagmauer with Phil Smith's Terror. I don't really know what album people prefer by this band. I'm guessing probably the second one. I'm not going to try to pronounce it, but yeah. I know people like this band, but I never hear anyone talk about this album. And this came out, I want to say like 2018, 2017. They haven't made an album in a long time, which is unfortunate. They keep teasing towards one, but nothing ever comes out, except for 2 singles over the past like 5 years. But yeah, this is an amazing, amazing album. And I've always liked Slagmauer. I thought they were like interesting at the very least. But when this came out, I was like, wow, these guys can really fucking deliver. Every song on here is absolutely amazing. Werewolf, Hansel and Gretel. The last song is amazing. I love the riffs in that. And then the 11 minute and change song on here, I think it's Hekkaskrit Og Djevel Rit. That is one of the best black metal songs to come out in the last 10 years. I'll just leave it at that. That song is so fucking good. The ending of that is just like, sends shivers down your spine. Amazing stuff, amazing album. I feel like people are really missing out if they haven't heard this. Absolutely amazing album. This is Slagmauer, Phil Smith's Terror. So after that, a couple of more known ones here. We have Satyricon with Rebel Extravaganza. Of course, everyone loves the first 3, myself included, but I feel like this one, maybe I won't say it's as good as the first 3, but it's very, very good. It takes a little while to get into, but you have songs like Tied in Bronze Chains, which the drumming in that is just insane. Filth Grinder, of course, amazing song. Primeval Renaissance is really cool. I like the folky elements towards the end. Supersonic Journey. When I first heard that back in the day, that just straight up blew me the fuck away. Like the time changing and the blast beats, just an excellent song. And then like the Scorn Torrent, mind-blowing song, the way he holds those blasts out at the end. It's gotta be like 210 beats per minute probably, or something like that. And yeah, it's a very, very dark closer. I love this album, I really do. It did take me a while to get into, but I feel like it definitely deserves its place in the, at least, discussion about, you know, top albums by Satyricon. You know, not Now Diabolical and fucking Age of Nero and all that. Nobody cares about those albums. Listen to this one. This is Rebel Extravaganza by Satyricon. So then last 3 here. This is, I have this on vinyl. This is another Van Records band. This is Urfoss, Geist des Teufel. I think this is just regular black vinyl. Yep. But yeah, this is a super lo-fi album. I will say that. It's not going to be for everyone. I put it on for a couple people before, and they were just like, this sounds like shit. And I'm like, yeah. Like, I'm not going to argue with that, but the songs and the songwriting in general on here, well, maybe not the songwriting, but like, I mean the riffs, I should say, on here are amazing. Very much in the style of like Isengard, very folky. And then the vocals, of course, anyone who's heard Urfoss know what the vocals are going to be like. They're very like medieval times, drunken monk in like a cellar, like just completely fucked up from booze and like with manuscripts everywhere and the Black Plague, and at least that's what I think of. Gloriously medieval album, in my opinion. I love it. I think it's an excellent album. And again, I guess I don't really know which album people prefer by Urfoss. I want to say it's probably like the 3rd one. I don't know the name, so I'm just say a 3rd one. But I feel like this is one of their best releases, if not their best release. There's a couple contenders, but yeah, this is an excellent album. Urfoss, Geist des Teufel. And so next one, or 2 left here. We have 1349 with Beyond the Apocalypse. Yeah, I never hear anyone talk about this album, and this album is ferocious as fuck. Like, they definitely leaned hard into that. It's very thrashy. Like, for example, the title track, Beyond the Apocalypse, very, very thrashy, very fast-paced song, but it's great. There's so many hits on here. Iwas Aeon, Necro Natalan Hayton, Chasing Dragon, The Singer of Strange Songs, Blood is the Mortar. I guess what I mean by the thrash thing is that the intensity is very similar to early thrash. Like, I don't know, I guess like stuff like Sarcophago and like Morbid Visions kind of come to mind. I could be wrong, I don't know. Definitely Sodom influence, Venom, you know. But yeah, the musical performances on here are amazing. Frost is at the top of his game. The production is very, very in your face. Like I was saying, like old school thrash. And yeah, everyone's just firing at all cylinders. I will say, yeah, Hellfire is better. But aside from Hellfire, I don't really think they have an album that's better than this. Amazing overlooked gem, 1349 Beyond the Apocalypse. And so the last album I have here, this is one that I never hear anyone talk about. This is a, oh, actually, I don't know. Could be Finland, maybe? This is Hive with Miele Massa. A very, very good album. Very interesting album. I picked this up when a record store near me was going out of business. I was super happy to get it. A lot of really shining moments on here. I love the riffs in the second song. It's super catchy. I love the vocals, too. There's some progressive elements on here. Even like some of the solos almost remind me of something out of like Opeth, but they still retain like the atmospheric black metal sound that they're going for. There's definitely elements of like Drudka and like Windeer and, you know, like Agalloch, In the Woods, bands like that. So it's a good hodgepodge of those things. It's a solid effort. The atmosphere is really cool. You know, it's similar to like Autumn Aurora. The production definitely fits that nature kind of thing. Is it my favorite black metal album ever? No, but it's definitely a hidden gem, and I never hear people talk about it. So check this out, Hive, Miele Massa. So yeah, that's it. That's my top. Well, that's my 15 underrated black metal albums. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you on the next one.